A country's got dementia? There's multiple countries that never ended up signing a peace deal, and even to this day, they're still technically officially at war.
There's a European country that declared an all-out war and just forgot about it.
I don't know.
You see, during the Russo-Japanese War,
So like
Montenegro
1900s?
declared war against Japan in the solidarity of Russia.
Wow. All right, Montenegro. Random, but okay. Did Montenegro even exist in those days? First of all, that conflict started in 1904. Oh yeah, Montenegro was around. That's pretty wild. Just when you Google it, it didn't technically become a country again until 2006. So Russo-Japanese war is going on.
Declared war against Japan
and they were
in the
friendly with
solidarity of
Russia.
The war ended after a
Montenegro.
treaty, but they didn't include Montenegro.
That's so
it was
hilarious.
still technically at war against
It's
Japan.
because it's technically because Japan forgot about Montenegro, or they didn't even like take it seriously. Remember, Japan has a history in doing that. Japan literally rejected Poland's declaration of war in World War II. It's like they were like, nah, nice try, little bro. Poor
But they didn't
Montenegro.
include Montenegro, so it was still technically at war against Japan. In 1918, Montenegro disappeared
Yes.
and forgot that it was at war. But as
Makes
soon
sense.
as it gained independence,
Again.
officials realized that they are still at war with Japan.
That's so
they
funny.
signed a treaty, ending the war with Japan, which lasted for a whole century.
Wow, talk about 100 years war. I love that gif of them like, oh, that's right. I'm a veteran. What war did you fight in? Well, the one that we ignored. Yeah, talk about a forgotten war. If you think about it, Montenegro declared war on Japan and lasted longer than the Russian Empire. They outlived our allies, so they technically contributed more to that conflict. That's Russia ended up becoming the Soviet Union. POV, when you notice that your war wariness is at 99.9% for some reason. Even better fact, after the treaty was signed, a village in Montenegro was named Japan. What the heck? Okay, I now have to go here. The village came into attention of the Japanese, which were visited by some Japanese journalists who, except in an unusual name, were convinced and with what natural beauties Montenegro has. What the hell? Who wrote this? Some AI or something? Poland in 1940. Poland, fight me, Japan. Japan, no. Poland, have a nice day. Like your average person from Montenegro, it probably slept it off. England was at war with the Netherlands for over 350 years because they forgot about it. That's one of them that I was thinking of. One of the many examples of countries forgetting they were at war this whole time. Nice video info hub.
There's a European country that wants to become a part of Asia.
Interesting. I think I'd know this one. If it was an Asian country wanting to become part of Europe, I probably would have guessed, well, there's a lot. Turkey, maybe Kazakhstan. But a European country wanting to be Asian? Hungary?
And that country is Serbia.
Oh,
you see, Serbia
close.
proposed to join TAC in 2013
Oh, because
to
of
good homies with these
ASEAN.
countries. 10 years pass, and its request got accepted. Serbia
Wow.
aims to boost its trade with ASEAN members to over $1 billion.
It's gonna be kind of tough for them to get there considering the fact that, you know, well, Serbia is now a landlocked nation. How are they supposed to get over to that part of the world?
But Serbia isn't the only
Oh,
one. You see these big boys, and this little boy have signed up for TAC thingy too. Anyway, subscribe.
Oh, so everyone's just becoming Asian now. Let's go! I'm Caucasian. Is this the official government website of Serbia? Oh, I guess it is. Well, they were just posting about how Serbia's ASEAN request unanimously was approved. Imagine us seeing these Southeast Asian flags with a Serbian flag at some point in the future. Talk about nightmare blunt rotation. What a weird timeline we're living in. Serbia becoming Asian is crazy, but Luxembourg is far more crazy.
With ASEAN members to over $1 billion. But Serbia isn't the only one. You see these big boys, and this little boy have signed up for TAC thingy too.
I really want to know who let Serbia join ASEAN. Turkey wants to become Europe, Serbia wants to become Asia. They might as well switch spots. There's so many videos about that anyways. Countries switching places. Not gonna lie, this has the same vibe as Yugoslavia joins the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. Timor be like, can I join ASEAN? Singapore, no. 2 poor years later. Serbia, can I join? Sure. As a Serbian, I personally call the continent Eurasia. Yeah, I mean, I guess you would. Don't get me started on my opinions about the Eurasian continent. Or does it sound like I'm about to say some things that are going to get me banned for 30 years? No, but technically, just from a geographical standpoint, I realize there's some cultural aspects to continents, but if we're talking purely physical geography, I feel like Eurasia should be a continent. Why does Europe get to be the only continent that is connected to another landmass as just like a peninsula? It's just a giant peninsula. It's fine. Destroy me in the comment section. I don't care.
There
Oh,
are
this is
some
the perfect
Asian
video I
countries
wanted.
that-
Now, Asian countries that want to join Europe. So like I said, Turkey, definitely, Kazakhstan, maybe some nations in the Caucasus Mountains like Georgia and Armenia because they want to join the EU.
That
Man,
want to
who knows?
join
Even
Europe
Canada?
So bad. Firstly, we got Kazakhstan,
There it
which
is.
mostly in Asia.
Mostly love that, but they are technically in Europe, which again goes back to my definition of continent. Like, why is Europe a continent? It's just kind of weird, but you can see this small chunk of Kazakhstan included in the European continent landmass. Very nice.
Which is mostly in Asia, but it's a member
Yes.
of OSCE, and some Kazakh politicians have shown interest in joining the EU.
Yes.
Then we got Turkey.
I mean, obviously Russia would never want that to happen, but who knows? Maybe one day.
And
All right,
some
we got
Kazakh
Turkey next, of
politicians
course.
have shown interest
Now,
in
technically,
joining
Turkey
the EU.
owns land.
Then we got Turkey, and
In
maybe
Europe.
EU has just forgotten about their joining application. Then I
Yes,
don't know.
it's been sitting there for like 40 years. Since the 80s, they've been trying to join the European Union?
How Israel wants to join
Israel?
the EU just because they participate in European sports leagues. But what's the matter with Georgia and Armenia?
Here we
Tell
go.
me in the comments.
Wow, I think we hit... Oh, I missed Israel. But I think they got to every single country I was talking about. I totally forgot about Israel. That would make a lot of sense for them to join. I mean, like, geographically, no. I can see why they'd want to join the EU. There's only 2 places off of the European continent that I could really imagine joining the European Union one day. That is now Israel out of Asia and maybe Morocco in Africa. Remember, the European Union being on other continents outside of Europe is not surprising because of Denmark. Greenland is in North America, but they're owned by Denmark, which technically means they're in the EU. That's a whole nother discussion. Technically, you can get any piece of land outside of Europe and make them join the EU. You just have to bring back the days of the empires. UK, Spain, France, Germany, Italy, Portugal, do your thing. Just kidding, don't. Please don't. Georgia and Armenia historically and culturally are European. Turkey, can I join? Meanwhile, the EU, Ottoman flashbacks. There's a big difference between culturally European and being in Europe. And really that discussion crosses over into purely geography, like what we talked about with continents. Georgia and Armenia claiming to be European, while Hungary and Serbia claiming to be Asian. Kazakhstan does have a little bit of land in Europe, so let my boy join the EU. Over 15% of Turkish people live in Europe. Joining the EU has 2 musts. Do everyone in EU want you to join? Do we like you? Technically, Kazakhstan has more land in Europe than Turkey. I never even thought about that. Info Hub. Always talking about the important topics. Strangest borders in Europe. Man, this is a hard title to fight for because Europe has so many strange borders.
These are most
but I will say,
your country. This small island called the Market Island was equally shared by Finland.
Sorry, Åland is just finished now, but Sweden wants it too.
This weird European border shows why Nordic countries are most probably better than your country.
Even, right?
This small island called the Market Island was equally shared by Finland and Sweden. In 1885, the Finns decided to build a lighthouse and chose the highest point, not realizing it was on the Swedish side. If such a mistake had occurred in countries like Balkans, it might have resulted in countless casualties and generational beefs.
Yes. Don't forget to mention a massive global war. A world war. The Balkans always cause the world wars.
However, Nordics just again equally divided the island by drawing this weird border.
Yeah, that works out. Nice. Finland just gets to claim, oh, it was a mistake, bro. Give us the tallest point on the island now. Back to my reference about the Balkans always causing world wars. Not really World War II, but Austria is close enough. Last time I checked, Estonia is still not a Nordic country, is it now? Romania, you stole my useless rock! That island dividing solution is actually pretty smart. Imagine if all countries sorted their things out like this. Nordics are just chill guys. Estonians are happy to see their country here. When the hell did we talk about Estonia?
And generational beefs. However, Nordics just again equally divided the island
because they were there for 2
border.
frames. Man, Estonia is just happy to be around. This makes me happy that we made them a country ball plushie. You can kind of see them back there, right? There. And before California and Texas go into the vaults, do check them out here on makeshift.com because they will eventually get banished to the Shadow Realm behind me and never get talked about again. It's kind of really depressing. Nice video, Maplad.
Half
of Europe hates itself.
Hates its own identity.
The
These
eastern
countries
side?
are on the eastern side of Europe.
Whoa, Estonia there. Wait, why is Latvia not included? I guess Latvia is the exception here.
However, if you call them Eastern European,
the
you are about to get a long lecture. You see Poland, Czechia, Ukraine, and even Lithuania sometimes claim that Europe's midpoint is located in their country. And by this
geographically speaking, I can see where they're coming from. But it's so weird how often, again, this is like the theme of the day, how often culture and geography mix.
Logic, they aren't Eastern European. Meanwhile, Estonia keeps saying it is Nordic because it is farther north than even Denmark.
True.
The reason is that Eastern Europe is on average a lot poorer, while the West is considered happy and prosperous.
This is a whole war that's still going to be waged probably for centuries now. How do you geographically divide up Europe? See, look, even the official Wikipedia article for regions of Europe is going to get someone to declare war on them. Like, how dare they do this? Oh, I see how they sidestepped the controversy, calling it Central and Eastern European. Wow, you p***s. Also like how they have to include the blame for the places when they do actually make a stand and calling this Central Europe, this Eastern Europe. It's World Factbook, guys. Get mad at them. Yeah, unfortunately, Eastern Europe has a very bad connotation. People don't really want to be associated with that, especially if you look at Eastern Europe, obviously as the last 100 years, specifically the Cold War era. I feel like the only place that should be called Eastern Europe should be Kazakhstan, Georgia, Azerbaijan. Not to get into it again, but I'm gonna have to bring it up. If y'all just accept there is no Asia, there is no Europe, only a Eurasian continent, then you all get to be Western Eurasian. Literally, that's the only solution. That's how you fix this problem. Well, except for Russia, you're still gonna be like Eastern Eurasia. Personally, I would say every country in the Visegrad group, that is Poland, Czechia, Slovakia, and Hungary, they should be considered Central Europe. I definitely don't agree with this map in other areas, but I like that definition. I love how Greece doesn't even care about being Western or Eastern. It's just Greece. Yeah, they're kind of in their own little separate world down there, huh? How many centers do you want? Europe, there's like 10,000. Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary are literally countries in Central Europe, not Eastern Europe. The reason is because we don't want to be associated with Russia. Calling Poland and Czechia Eastern is actually so dumb. Estonia actually has a good point. I'll be honest, I didn't know that was the reason they wanted to be a part of Northern Europe, because they're more north than even Denmark. That's a good definition. Again, you gotta change the flag though. You ain't getting into that. I won't even let you in if you don't adopt the Nordic cross on your flag. If you don't change your flag to this right now, I'll do everything in my power to make sure you never into Nordic. That's a little mean, but you just can't mess up the synergy. It looks so good up here.
This is
the
why
Netherlands is the most
probably
important
more
country.
Important than your country.
More
Firstly,
important than my country? What the hell? Why the Netherlands is so important? All right. Well, let's see.
The Svalbard Islands and John Mayen Islands were discovered by Dutch sailors in the 1600s.
It's interesting because they don't have those. Norway has this.
Sadly for the Netherlands, they now both belong to Norway. Similarly, the Falkland Islands were also a Dutch discovery, but later Britain colonized them.
That's basically the theme of like the Dutch colonial empire. They discover something, they start calling it Dutch colonial lands, and then the British just steal it away. That happens so many times.
Australia and New Zealand were discovered by the Dutch, but now both speak English. You see, the Dutch were the literal best explorers, but sadly, they didn't have enough manpower to hold the lands.
True, but they still ended up being very powerful, along with Portugal, punching way above their weight even though they're such small countries. Also, don't forget, they're going to be extremely crucial when sea levels begin to continually rise, because they're the only place that ended up figuring this out. I think we're all going to have to be Dutch in the future. You know, Dutchmen keep discovering new lands because their own country is going to be underwater. Also, we invented the nanochips, the small computer chips used to pretty much every electronic, phones, TVs, and even military goods. Netherlands finds land, rest of the world. Is that for me? New York too. If England never came, it would have been New Amsterdam. It's incredible how the Netherlands have so few people, but somehow these guys discovered so many places. Imagine a world if the Netherlands just had 100 million people, lol. Yeah, they don't even have a quarter of that. Maplad, nice.
Did you
Possibly
know 2
the funniest
European
war.
countries almost went to war because of a name? I'm sure you are aware of the Great Macedonian Empire and its even greater emperor Alexander the Goat. Greece is very proud of this history. So when Yugoslavia collapsed and a new country called Macedonia was formed,
they were not
Greece
happy.
claimed this country was trying to steal its history.
Yeah.
In 2008, Greece even stopped NATO from inviting...
This was a big deal on the internet too. I remember these days of the internet. I didn't really know what Macedonia was. That was like a dude or something. But the fight was very online. That's when Americans even discovered it.
Macedonia responded by erecting a massive statue of Alexander the Great in its capital. However, this issue was finally resolved.
What's that? Something to injury.
When Macedonia changed its name in 2019.
And that kind of fixed the situation a bit. But yeah, the war would have probably broken out. It was like 11 angry years between these two. No fight means a day wasted in the Balkans. It's almost like Romania calling itself the Roman Republic in front of Italy. Greece, look back. Stop stealing my history, you theft. Fine, I'll add North to it. Welcome to NATO. I guess it was that easy all along. Can't blame Greece. Imagine how the Germans would have felt if Poland randomly started calling them as No Germany. Well, that would be weird. Happy Earth, nice. Switzerland invaded a country. Yes, a neutral Switzerland did accidentally invade a country. They're not as neutral as you might think.
Can't stop invading a neutral country.
It's
in 2007, over 100
It's messed up because of course it's going to be the micronation that they border, who's not going to be able to give them any real consequences back.
I see how accidentally entered Liechtenstein because of bad weather and visibility. However, Liechtenstein didn't even discover the incident and was later informed by Swiss authorities. In the 80s, the Swiss...
Liechtenstein? I guess everyone's pronouncing countries' names weird today.
Accidentally fired missiles at Liechtenstein,
I heard about that
causing
too.
a forest fire. Switzerland was really sorry and paid millions of francs in compensation.
Sounds like Liechtenstein needs to become allies with Austria. Just have like a bigger, scarier buddy that can come like defend you if you need. So technically, yeah, Switzerland's not all that peaceful. I mean, 2 times? 2 times? You accidentally enter their territory, then you blew things up with rocket artillery? Fun fact, it's not just these 2 events, but this happened like 5 times in history. Once 70 soldiers accidentally entered Liechtenstein, but were offered drinks by Liechtensteiners. Switzerland, my bad, bro. Liechtenstein, it's okay, bro. I like how Liechtenstein each time is just chill about it. Well, they don't really have any other option. They don't want to fight Switzerland. Imagine having to tell someone that you invaded their country. Sorry. Switzerland trying its hardest to not accidentally invade Liechtenstein. Impossible challenge. Let's go check out all these channels. As always, big ol' thanks to the patrons. Drew's Argentinian Trust Fund. Rip, Grandpa. I will force Drew to eat Spanish food unless he remembers Imperial and modern Japan have the same flag. Alexander the Terrible. Connor Pavlik. DOOCHBAGGINS. Fredrik Tibblin. KingBearHaze. LuxembourgLover. NordTyrol. Niglu the Goat. Tambre. Check that link down below if you want your name here.